Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSperts, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Andy Molitor. And as is Friday tradition, we bring in Mr. Rooney to help us with a little baseball and all things like that. But let's start with the NHL Draft. What do you think, Andy? Another draft, another consensus number one pick goes down in flames. Fourth, Matt, he went fourth?
I wasn't watching last night. I was going out to dinner, but I was tracking it on Twitter because obviously the Blackhawks are really active too. So I was seeing what they were doing. And I saw Slavkovsky go number one, who I told you on Tuesday I think was actually going to end up going number one because the odds were plummeting. And sure, lo and behold, he did. And I was like, oh man, like that 1, 2, 3 I gave out, like that's looking really good. Like Wright's going to go 2 to New Jersey. And then nope.
We went Slovak. It was a good day for the Slovakians.
I was very surprised that Shane Wright fell as far as he did. And he's not, he's not a Connor McDavid type number one, but like he's been the consensus number one in this draft for like a couple of years now. And I don't know. I think in a couple of years you're going to see some teams ahead of Seattle regretting not picking him, but I guess we'll see. But it just seems like a little bit of overthinking to me. A little bit bummed that 1, 2, 3 exactor I gave out on Tuesday didn't hit though. I thought it was in really good shape.
I ended up spraying the board a little. Yeah,
he's a high floor, low ceiling guy.
Yeah, I mean his ceiling probably isn't superstar, but his ceiling is probably right below that. I think he's going to end up being a guy who's probably a number 2 center on a Stanley Cup type team. If he's your number 1 center, you better hope that you're really deep probably. Again, this is all speculation because he has a lot of time to develop and Seattle's going to give him a chance to – I mean, he might be ready this year, probably not. Seattle's going to give him a chance to whenever
Seattle is not in ready. Win now mode.
Exactly. So they're going to be able to take his development as easy or as quickly as they want to and put him in all the positions he needs to be in, bring him along. I think people got a little bit worried off by his ceiling. I'm not totally sure why his development got a little bit hampered by, the COVID years, but I still think he's going to end up being the best player in this draft.
I talked to somebody who knows some people in Calgary, and by Calgary, I mean with the Flames, and they said there was talk about his defense being kind of lagging behind where people thought it should be, but he was still like, everybody I talked to who had any sort of source still had him in the top 3. And when it all hashed out, and there was a lot of speculation of Cutter going second, there was speculation of Cooley going second. So I ended up placing, and this is wild. Like I paid no attention to this draft. I had a little of Slav to go first, but you couldn't get much down on it. But and I looked at the timestamp. This was placed at 7 minutes before the top of the hour when the draft was supposed to start. And I'm guessing things went off the board, but I bet Wright to go 3rd and 4th at decent numbers. And
what'd you get him to go forward? What'd you hit at?
22. There was people who had 50 on that apparently, but enough people just the chat was going wild, and they're like, somebody's like, he could drop to 3 or 4. I'm like, I'll put some money on that, I guess. So I didn't, and I did play some Cutter to go second. That lost, obviously. My only under, apparently at some point I bet minus 300 for Zhirov to go under 3.5. Like he had to go in the top 3, paid some heavy juice on that on a small stakes prop. And then the guy with Mint in his name, I don't know any of these people. Like
this was not
he went 10th. He went 10th. I had an under 12 or 13 on some guy named Mint Chowski or I don't know what his name was. Either way, like the people who informed me of draft props did okay, I guess, because won a little money, and it was I only watched the first 4 picks, and then I had to go to the movies. I had to go see Thor.
How was Thor? Did you like it?
It's pretty good. I'm a Taika Waititi guy. Like it was, Ragnarok-ish. It was fun. It was a romp, and it's just good old Marvel fun on a Thursday afternoon. So,
Matt,
but yeah,
Romanov to win the Norris. I assume Norris is best rookie.
Norris is best defenseman.
Oh, I don't know. See, that's why I couldn't find him in the draft. This has nothing to do with draft stuff. You're way ahead of it, Patrick.
Yeah, what is best rookie? What's that one called?
The Calder Trophy.
Why can't they just call it Rookie of the Year?
I don't know, because they got to name them after all these guys, and it's, you know.
Do you remember when the divisions
had
those names? The divisions used to have names like that.
Yeah, there was the Norris division. I think there's the Wales, the Campbell. Yeah.
It made it so confusing. I'm like, I don't know what part of the country this is. Either way.
Yeah, now it's just Pacific, Metro, Central.
Let's
the Memphis Grizzlies are a Western Conference team, Andy. Nothing makes any sense.
No, yeah, the USC is the 16th team in the Big Ten, a Midwestern football conference. So the world is upside down, and that's where we're going to head to Europe, where I have continued. I need to tweet this out, I suppose, because this match starts soon.
Did you bet the exact score? Is there any chance you bet that? Because you
nailed it. I did not. I was like, and I'm very superstitious about that. Like when I say something, I'm like, usually I have to go put like, I have to go put like $20 on this. Like if I say something like that, and I had that score, I was like I did think that Norway was going to beat their pants off, but fucking Northern Ireland just scores against teams. And I did put a little tickler on Northern Ireland over a half goal over at Bovada had like 168. So when they scored that goal, it won 2 bets for me. It was very, very nice to see that one come through. Get back on track with the Women's Euros. 2 matches today. One starts in 22 minutes. And it is another big favorite. This is probably your second or third worst team in the competition. That said, there's only 16. There's going to be some haves and have-nots. As discussed, our Spanish team has had 2 major leg injuries to 2, their best player, essentially. And
legs are important for soccer.
They're missing 2 high-end players. They're a deep team. They have half the Barcelona squad on this team. They're very good. They should be in that second tier of teams that can compete with England, can compete with, the Dutch. They were listed as favorites or second favorites. I think that was probably overstated given the injuries. And I don't think they're going to come in here and blow out the Finns. The Finns have been okay. We've seen some bad performances. It's so hard to grade this because, again, when you're doing NBA, NHL, MLB, we're like, wow, they just played, or we just saw that guy pitch last week. Some of these national team things, it's like, well, we saw him play one warm-up match against the Netherlands. They lost 2-0. And then the one before that was, a week or so before that. And then the match before that was in early April. Like it is a long time back. So it's hard to grade the form of some of these teams. I just don't think Spain should be this big of a favorite. I think they win 2-0, 3-1. I think it is kind of a never in doubt score sheet type thing, but they do get it done. That starts very, very soon. And then the other one would be the German. I'm checking. This is, I think, your normal afternoon starting time, 3 p.m. Eastern for Germany, Denmark. Germany's a football powerhouse, has been for a very long time, men and women. The German team has won many Euros, and they're just not as good right now. They're very good. They're in that top of the second tier. Denmark's right there with them. Neither defense I've seen, just going back and looking at what we've seen from, defensive. Again, the form, it's hard to read, but I've seen enough from, either of these teams playing commensurate opponents. It's hard to say they beat this team 8-0. Yeah, but it was Seychelles Islands or something. It doesn't. You can't take a lot of context when they play these weird warm-ups against I'm trying to think of a tiny Moldova. What's the Monaco? Some of these really small. Gibraltar, these tiny little countries.
Does Malta have a team?
Malta probably has a team. So
Cyprus?
This one's in Brentford. This one is in London. My Brentford Bees stadium's hosting this. I took a cheap both teams to score. I wanted the over. Didn't like it as much at that price. Was hoping it'd get a little cheaper, so I ended up on a both teams to score. Both pretty cheap prices, plus 105 on the plus 2.5, because technically the line is minus 2 3/4. So I actually sold a quarter goal there, and then the BTTS, both teams to score, is minus 105. Place those both at. Bovada seems to have decent prices right now. Both of these were more expensive if you went over to bookmakers. So I guess that's where I'm betting it this year. And I'm going to gonna tweet. I better go tweet this Finlish pick to put it in my thread of all the picks I'm doing for the year.
I'm trying to bet it now. Sportsbooks, make this easier to find.
Oh man, it's been better, but like when I had to go look for women's Euros, it was a struggle to go find that. Like it was very buried deep. Like you had to go international. They had it buried in international clubs in one, which is not right. So either way, Wimbledon's underway. Joker has evened things up. It's 2 sets apiece. We're sitting on a best of 3 tennis match between Cam Norrie and your presumptive champion winner favorite, who Nick Kyrgios is awaiting the winner of with his walkover. And Joker just broke in the first game of the 3rd set, so he's up a break to start this 3rd set. The women's matches will take place mañana?
Tomorrow morning. Nice and early. Start your Saturday. Get a little breakfast going, and we'll have ourselves a ladies' final tomorrow. The men's match, we were talking a little bit about it off air. And Novak just kind of doing Novak things. He's bottled first sets here and started slowly. It's almost like a warm-up set for him. It's very bizarre, but he seems to be back in control and might even cover here. So it looks like it'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time. So nice breakfast for you if you're on the East Coast. If you're on the West, set your alarm. You got to get up a little early. I was actually joking. Someone was posted a picture, Andy, but Matt, that someone was, quote, a warrior for being up and drinking at 9 in the morning watching golf. I may or may not have been up at 6 in the morning at Circa with a pina colada watching this final last year. But unfortunately, I'll be doing it from my couch. But I think it's going to be a great match. It's going to be an absolute battle. Both of these players are playing very well. Maybe a little nervous for Jabeur. Going back and looking at some of her matches, I was expecting maybe to back her here. It seems like a cheap price, but has struggled maybe a little bit more with less than perfect competition. And Rybakina might just have a way of serving through this match. But either way, give me the over. There's 21.5, so I grabbed a 22. It was right around even money. 22 at less than standard juice, 21 probably up to -120 is all good here. Again, I think we might see 3 sets here. At the very least, we're going to see 2 long sets. I think the first one's going to be a battle. So put a half unit there on first set over 10.5 games. You can find this at a handful of spots. Look around, and you might even find a better number than +250. Actually wasn't open too many places this morning and did do a great job checking numbers. So you might be able to do a little bit better than me. But basically what we need is a 7-5 or a tiebreaker there in that first set. And with both of these women, we've seen sort of measured starts. Again, Rybakina has served very well. Jabeur has been able to settle down. And I think the first set's going to be long and the match is going to be long here. So give me some overs. We'll go the full match and the first set. Hopefully we see a tiebreak there in the first set. And we're in nice, easy shape there for the second set. I love a no sweat.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get one of these bets, the other one is very correlated to likely happen. I don't know. I'm going to have to see what I can get for a first set price. No, it's not hard to find, harder to find.
Yeah, it can be difficult. I mean, poke around. Just about everybody has it. Is a Grand Slam final, and maybe it won't be till this afternoon or tomorrow. Some places don't open it, just kind of waiting to see what happens at other spots. So we'll see.
Real quick, any thoughts to hedging a Jabeur future? My opinion on that is always the same. Like, it's a very, very personal decision. It is, and again, it's your bets, your bets, your choice. Hopefully, the Supreme Court doesn't infringe on our rights to hedge futures anytime soon, because this is a very personal choice. And seriously, like, if it's a shitload of money, like, you would be upset if she loses and you see all that money that you had spent already. Like, then hedge if it's going to affect your day. If you have outlaid,
cover your stake at least.
Yeah. If your stake is bigger than you normally placed, hedge at that point. Not usually the case with something long like this, but I don't know when you better. If you better in the semis and you put like $2,000 on her at even money or something, it's one of those things where maybe you do need to cover your stake a little. And again, if it's going to affect your, you got 10-1. Yeah, like, you have some room to play there. It's really up to you if it's about the money. And honestly, if you just want to sit and enjoy it, there's great hedging calculators anywhere, arbitrage calcs, where you can hedge it, win the same amount either way, and just call it a fun morning of I win.
I'm always a big fan of at least hedging to cover your stake. Just make sure you don't lose money once you get this far. That's always kind of my thought. I know you're not big on hedging, Andy, but that's where I don't want to lose money. If my future looks this good this far into it, just make sure I'm not losing money. I'm at least breaking even.
Yeah, there's so many good numbers out there. I think Whale gave it out around 33, and I'm just taking a look. I mean, at that 10-to-1 price, you can lock in basically 5x. So, if you've got one unit at 10-to-1, if you put 5 on Rybakina at plus 125, you collect 6.25. If Rybakina wins, give your 1 back. If Jabor wins, you collect your 10, give 5 back. So you're in some nice spots here to lock in some nice numbers. So again, like Andy said, if you have a decent chunk in, go ahead, kind of sit there and make your decision. In general, you only want to make a bet when it's a plus EV bet. I think Rybakina is the right side here. I don't necessarily know if there's value on her, but yeah, take a look. I mean, I would at least cover your stake here, and if you want to lock in some profit. So again, you can get up tomorrow and either have a risk-free bet on Jabor or know that no matter what happens, you've got a nice chunk of money coming into one of your accounts. That's fine too.
Yeah, get weird with it and enjoy. 33-to-1 gang. Yeah, I said that on the deep dive. Drew asked me how much I bet on Nance Jabor when he told me to, and he's how much. I said not enough. Like that's where my broken brain is. When you're in great position on a bet, all you can think about is like, oh, I could have bet more, or I should have bet more places. I should have.
You have 33. You can lock in 17 units.
Yeah, 17 units on place it, hammer it. So
or maybe go sell it on prop swap because it's tough getting 10, 15 units down on some of these hedges.
Yeah, you might have to bet across. I don't know. It's a Grand Slam final. They should be taking decent limits. Again, if it's a liquidity thing, if you're just like, shit, I don't have that much money, like sometimes selling it off or, find a credit book. It is never enough. So, Matt, do you got a 17-to-1 parlay today?
It's 4-to-1, but I also added a team while you guys were talking to make it 5 to. It's more like 6-to-1 now. I'm going to throw Dan's Braves into here. Betting baseball has been kind of tough so far this year, and I think we've talked about how at some points you get into midseason, it's a little bit of a fool's errand. But I've noticed that just kind of going heavy money line favorites and throwing them into a parlay is a fun way to watch baseball on a Friday night, weekend, whatever, and kind of usually win a decent amount. I think I've had some pretty good luck with these so far this year. Unfortunately, no day baseball. I don't know why on a July Friday there is not a 1 o'clock or a 2 o'clock first pitch somewhere. Seems like a missed opportunity.
Seems like they never do it on Friday. Maybe they have an agreement with somebody not to do it Friday. We'll take Thursday afternoon.
It seems like the Cubs are the only ones that ever really. The Cubs always do it when they're on, when they're summer Fridays at home. But that seems like that's it. They're not at home. I am fading them in this parlay. I wish they were at home so I could watch them at 1 o'clock instead of 9:30. But we'll start there. I'm going to take the Dodgers over the Cubs. The Dodgers won last night 5-3. Cubs have been playing pretty decent baseball as of late. They just took 2 of 3 against Milwaukee, but the Dodgers are playing even better baseball as of late. They've won 4 in a row. They took 2 of 3 against the Padres, then 3 against the Rockies, and then last night. So they've been playing really good baseball. They're the best team in baseball right now. Tyler Anderson's on the mound for them. If it wasn't for what Tony Gonsolin's been doing, Tyler Anderson would be getting a lot of where is he coming from out of nowhere, how good he's been. He's got an ERA just around 3. He's been really good. So I'm going to take the Dodgers there on the money line. Astros over the A's. The Astros are really good. The A's are really bad. This is actually a rare situation where the A's are going to have a pitching advantage with Blackburn on the mound going up against Jose Urquidy, but still it's the Astros against the A's, and I like them. Minus 186. And the Astros have won 4 out of 5. Rays are in Cincinnati. This is actually your first game, though I don't really count, 5:40 Central Time, 6:40 Eastern Time as day baseball. Unfortunately, that's a little bit too late. But they have Shane McClanahan going on the mound for the Rays. He's been arguably the best pitcher in the AL this year, at least one of them. He's got an ERA under 2. The Reds are throwing Luis Castillo, but the Rays are 1-4 out of the last 5. 2 against Boston, 2 against Toronto. So they're beating pretty good teams, and they have their best pitcher going on the mound. I like them to beat the lowly Reds, who are actually playing decent baseball after the awful start, but they're still not very good. And then lastly, we have the Brewers over the Pirates. They're coming back home, or they're back home after losing 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. They have the Pirates coming in. They need to kind of bounce back here after what was a bad series. The pitching matchup isn't really great. 2 guys with mid-4 ERAs. I expect the Brewers bats to kind of take over a little bit tonight at home after dropping 2 out of 3 against a team they should probably beat. I think they bounce back tonight. And then Dan's Braves are minus 260 favorites at home against the Nationals. The Braves are playing as good a baseball as anybody over the last month. Charlie Morton's pitching really well. He's lowered his ERA down like a full run from where it was in early June. So I like the Braves against the terrible Nationals. And that parlay pays you about plus 596.
I like it.
Just by betting a whole bunch of heavy favorites.
I like it. I go with the 4. I don't know. Dan always makes me nervous. Just knowing Dan's alive and the Braves exist there's some conflict.
That's
there.
the risk.
Not that I want anything bad to happen to Dan, but it just makes me nervous.
Dan's boarding a plane now.
Yeah, the way you
it was really poorly timed.
Producer Dan will be returning to us next week. He'll be back.
Wherever Dan is.
Yeah, the show's production value will increase quite a bit next week.
Yeah, Dan is enjoying a nice long vacation. Good for him. He's earned it. You need to take those before football season starts. Closing it out with some golf. I gave you a winner yesterday. I do believe. Yeah, Vaughn. I didn't win a bet in Scotland. Didn't lose a bet in Kentucky. Unfortunately, I placed more bets in Scotland than I did in Kentucky. It did not even out. Yeah, not even close. Had a rough morning. Was feeling sorry for myself. That's no way to go through life. Luckily, things perked up in Kentucky a little. So, yeah, yesterday the Vaughn Taylor over Austin Cook thing came through in spades. The full tournament one still has a lot of golf left to be played. I think that was a Buckley over. I gave Buckley over Hadley. I think they're actually tied right now. So, looks like they'll both probably make the cut. You'll want to be seeing that one through the weekend. Today, this is one I played yesterday, and we have this conversation a lot on Fridays where I said, hey, I played this one yesterday, and I'm going to play it again. And I give it out because yesterday it was a morning prop, and now it's an afternoon round. So Bird, no S, like Marty Bird, over Harry Higgs, the guy who took his shirt off down in Phoenix, and you got to see his tum-tum. This is a mismatch of obviously still a minus 126 favorite. I bet this over at Bookmaker. I think it's still available at that price. And again, I make this like minus 150. I bet it yesterday. I don't know how many strokes he won by, but it was plenty to where it wasn't a sweat. And I'm just betting this one again. I didn't repeat on anything else, I don't think, from either tournament. I almost did up in Scotland, but I took some dogs there. 2 are going. They're both through 5 holes. This is the only one I have left for the day. So Jonathan Bird, Harry Higgs. I couldn't pick Jonathan Bird out of a lineup, but his numbers sure look a lot better on paper than Mr. Higgs. Expecting him to take him down again today. And yeah, let's slide into the weekend, guys. We've got 2 Wimbledon finals. We've got a shitload of baseball. The Tour de France is ripping. I need to place more bets on that. 2-0 still. Maybe I'll just retire 2-0.
We got some picks in the chat, too. It sounds like Patrick likes my Philadelphia Phillies. Orioles apparently are going to have a juiced crowd thanks to a free Hawaiian shirt giveaway and bucket hat day. So
free Hawaiian shirt giveaways at the Sox game always do really well. So I'm going to guess that does really well for the Orioles. That's a real popular giveaway.
Yeah, does everyone have that now? I was going to say the Twins for sure have that, too. Like, that must just be it's a copycat league, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Everyone's just doing what everyone's doing for the
they're great shirts.
Yeah, Stage 7. Oh, is
for
that the biking thing? Oh, yeah, good for them. Are they in France yet? I heard they started outside of France this year.
So I think it was only the first few that were in Denmark. I believe they are down in the French Alps or whatever. So yeah, this is it starting now? Like, it's already 11 o'clock. Like, I'm sure it's going. I was watching a live tracker when I had a head-to-head bet, and it says, like, here's 5 racers who are like in the lead, and you scroll over and it says who they are. None of them were the guys I'd bet on, the 2 matchups. And then here's a pack that's trailing, and here's a pack that's trailing them, and you mouse over, and my guys weren't in. And then it just says Peloton, and there's like 150 racers in there. And you scroll, it doesn't list them at all because it's just a mess. How would they keep track of that live? So, like, my bet, I just had to sit and wait. I had no idea how to. I didn't want to watch. I had no idea how to track it live. We had to just wait until all the times popped up at the end, and that might keep me off of betting the Tour de France. I like to know where I'm at during things, so that bothered me enough where if you give me a plus EV move, I'm gonna probably tail it anyway, just because I like betting. But I do not know who wins Stage 7.
A bicyclist.
Yeah, one of the bicyclists. I've already spent enough time.
Bicyclist.
So, yeah, I've already spent enough time on
fall.
something. I will not give you any. I will not give you any alpha on this. So for producer Matt and talent Matt,
good job this week, Matt. Way to go.
Me and Alex. Yeah. Thanks. Give us some thumbs up if you haven't checked out the deep dive already. We did a NFL handicapping episode to kind of whet your appetite for the previews.
I love the title of that episode was just the NFL. Just the deep dive.
NFL.
The NFL.
The NFL.
So,
I didn't
so self-explanatory.
Back to our basics.
The NFL.
Didn't want to get too fancy with the name. Just, hey, guess what we're
talking
talking
about?
about
We
today?
think we are.
Yeah, we're talking NFL. Gridiron, baby. So, all right, Matt, play us out.